first days of graduating my 8 semesters of college, and the last couple of days, I've been going over pretty much the area, dwelling on the area of where, when I got to my fourth semester, when I completed my fourth semester of 8 semesters, first semesters, that's 2 years. I went for 3 years to inspire with the thus far, to inspire the community with the thus far. The thus far being graduating from kindergarten, graduating from junior high, graduating from high school, and then here in college doing the first 4 semesters. And pertaining to this being that when I graduated from kindergarten, already the inspiration that was pertaining itself to my citizenship or my moment's time of existence was you already a psychologist, and then it's now you making way to college to put some degree with it, some mastery with it, and some professional with it. So after the first 4 semesters that was completed, here's where I really was able to conclude and pretty much celebrate that I now understand psychology. When I look over when I'm doing my honest history words, I really, to say love to you, some nice words, honest history. I'm going over my honest history. Not so much of bringing in the word revise, but I'm doing my honest history here after the 8 semesters graduated. Alright, and I'm going over the 8 semesters before graduating, and I'm getting back to the high school, and I'm evaluating that, and then I'm evaluating the junior high, and I'm evaluating the elementary, evaluating the kindergarten. And in that evaluating, there is my story, and then to say it like that, so because when getting here to 4 semesters, concluding the 4 semesters, it really was a zeroing in on individuality. And to say it like that so is because right here at the 4 semesters, when I completed my first 4 semesters, before going to complete the other 4 semesters that just was graduated on May 23rd, 2019, I took some time. I traveled for 3 years to inspire with the thus far. So it was the kindergarten, and then it was the junior high, and then it was the high school, and then plus the 4 semesters. And so, and I said like that so because when we zero on individuality, this was the opportunity to grasp all that detailing and my individuality experienced in kindergarten, all the detailing experience in junior high, all the detailing in high school, and then to capitalize on the detail of the 4 semesters of college thus far. Now, in kindergarten, or to say, let's put elementary in here too, kindergarten, elementary, and then junior high, high school, and then the 4 semesters of college. Now, my elementary, this was, I started in Catholic school here. This was Catholic school, private school. So to say it like that, when we get to here to the 3 years and we grasp the detailing, to say Christian psychology are just using psychology, and then there is where they're also used in the last 17s, pertaining to me being here just a few months after graduating from 8 semesters. There is where I've been using the topic of keeping the good Lord in the picture, to say. And so to keep the good Lord in the picture, here's where there's the opportunity at Christian psychology, to say. But we just focusing on the word psychology. Focus on the word of psychology, and as we focus on the word of psychology, there's the opportunity to keep the good Lord in the picture. And then to say that's not a bad way at it, because again, in this moment in time of zeroing in, where we have this zero, let's say, and we're going to put 2 candles in there. We got this, and this, I kept up with it with a 5-8 candle, and then we got the 5-9 candle. Alright, so this was again the celebration. This is where I was able to capitalize on this. that what psychology was. This is pertaining to when in kindergarten I was already concluded and received as a psychologist, but again I didn't yet go to college to put the degree, the mastery or the professional with it. So in this moment of time after completing the 4 semesters of college, again, this is the 4 semesters. This is where I was able to capitalize and celebrate. Okay, I finally know what psychology is. And I also use the area of where there is the topic of a first-hand experience. Not so much of, to say, the word of mouth. To say that in kindergarten, I was given the word of mouth about what psychology is. And then in elementary, I was given by word of mouth what psychology is. And then in junior high, I was given by word of mouth what psychology is. And then in high school, I was given word of mouth by way of what psychology is. Pertaining to the description of when I was in kindergarten, I was given a first-hand experience about what psychology is. And then in elementary, I was given a first-hand experience of what psychology is. And then in junior high, I was given a first-hand experience of what psychology is. And then in high school, I gave a first-hand experience of what psychology is. So I just like that so because I get to individuality and the zeroing in. And then here's where opportunity for starts already say keeping the good Lord in the picture, because when we zero in individuality, it's all that bringing from kindergarten. It's all that bringing when the kindergarten graduation came about, and I'm about to start elementary, and all the inspire found in this area about when getting way up here to this area, not so much just this area of the 4 semesters college, but when the other 4 was completed. And then also to grab the remaining of the same topic. So let's say already in kindergarten, gave the opportunity to be inspired as a psychologist, and what the full detail is, the psychologist who don't know what psychology is. To say with the opportunity of learning now, here in kindergarten, by way of a word of mouth, or by way of a first-hand experience. Alright, so now we're not going to tie those two together. That's just the picture to say, to present. So now we have the inspiration that's found here in these days pertaining to the topic of psychology, kindergarten. And now we have the topic of psychology found here at the graduating of the 8 semesters of college. Psychology is found also here. Matter of fact, that psychology and business was the major and the minor. Alright, so now when we get to individuality, before actually going on to travel for 3 years and inspire the community with the thus far to say, it's a moment of time of individuality. Here's where not all individuality to say is opportunity to capitalize on one's own uniqueness to say, another topic. But individuality was opportunity to capitalize on all the happening to say just with this individuality, all the happening in kindergarten. Oh man, I'm able to ponder on let's just say the graduation during then, let alone the graduation just 2 months ago, May 23rd, 2019. And my individuality is pondering on elementary. My elementary experience to say my 24/7, the atmosphere is always filled with the opportunity to learn about demons, or to receive that the ideal of to say demons and angels, to say this is to say and keeping the picture of the good Lord in the picture. Okay. Alright, junior high, the bringing of that, because also in this area there is, to say again, for us to keep the good Lord in the picture, the topic of establishing the relationship with him, not so much just keeping him in the picture, but establishing a relationship with him. So the all bringing of all that to say, from the kindergarten, elementary, junior high, high school. And so here I'm at the, just concluded 4 semesters of college, and here's where I'm able to really grasp what psychology is. Alright? Now, I also shared pertaining to my last time, to say just yesterday wouldn't be a bad way at it. There was I involved in the teaching doing then. The moment's time of when I get to the 4 semesters of college and able to grasp in that moment's time of what psychology is. All right, we grasp on the moment's time of what psychology is, and there was pertaining to that moment's time the magnifying of the individuality, let's say, all right, the magnifying of the individuality. And so before we go anywhere right there, let me get this. So we got the 5-8 candle to say, and then we got the 5-9 candle in that area. Because before we get to this individuality moment, after the 4 semesters, the first 4 semesters, the 5-8 candle is mentioned here in this area, the kindergarten, elementary school years, not the 5-9 candle. 5-9 candle is not mentioned. Where we're going to, and then the uses of these candles here, we're going to use complexity. This is a word of origin here. And then we're going to use conflict, and then we're going to use climax. All right. And what I had shared in the teaching to pick back up on that area was we're here in this area, the kindergarten, elementary, when first starting, where let's use the word rebuke. We gotta use the word rebuke also. And the word rebuke meaning not to agree with a thought, not to agree with a thought. And the thought not to agree with was the thought of climax. That it was going to have to be a wait till I get to here the first 4 semesters of college when I'm actually going to be taught about what psychology is. Because that's where I first sat in the class to learn of psychology. To say that we grasp in the identity of, okay, you have a kindergarten that's already a psychologist, you have an elementary student that's already a psychologist, junior high that's already a psychologist, junior high student and high school students already a psychologist. But the student have not yet been to college yet to sit in a psychology class. And then with all that, again, when we get back to the area of individuality, where there is the word precise detailing, where one is able to grasp at their individuality. Because also yesterday in the sharing was not all individuality, able to receive, not all individuality is showing up with the same story. All right? Not all individuality is showing up with the same story. So in this moment of individuality, it was pretty much to say the grasping on my brain to this same area where let's say there's many stories showing up to a psychology. But to say mine's in precise for one that's focusing are able to go over the detail, are called, are they going over the detail of what transpired in their individual experience, right? And so captivating on those words like so, because in particular was a psychologist who did not understand psychology. So it's a psychologist being gave the credit of already being a psychologist, but don't know what psychology is. It's a waste of time. It's not something that, let's just say, we should want to do. But again, that's not the conclusion. This is where we come back to the word rebuke. So let's not agree with that thought just because you have not yet been to your first college semester where you're going to actually get to sit in and really be taught psychology now. It's not that you're just going to be going through your educational experience of being a psychologist and you're not yet able to sit and study psychology. Now, maybe see, this is a familiar area. I think about when we are pursuing our 4 years of college, and when we're not yet able to sit and tackle our main courses pertaining to what we are studying. It's other things we have to do before then. It's all education, but it's other educational things that we have to do before actually being able to sit and focus on our particular major or our particular minor. So, not to agree with that thought, alright? So here, Terrill, here's your kindergarten. Here's your certificate here, and you're graduating to elementary. So don't agree with that thought that you're not already. And to say it like that, so is because again, in this area of focus on individuality, and the sharing was in the last time, like we say yesterday, that's not a bad way at it. There was in the hospital room I was born in. The University of Berkeley was present. Its presence was present, and then pertaining to that moment's time with me, grasping my individuality to say at the conclusion of the first semesters of college, in all that individuality, for me to say, man, I'm here and I just finished 4 semesters of college. Well, on the very first day when I came from the womb, wasn't even in the earth for a minute. The University of Cal Berkeley was in the hospital room actually watching me be born. For me to be here 20 years later, and I've grasped that individuality, and it's pertaining to its celebration of 4 semesters of college, first 4 semesters of college pertaining to, and then it was going back to finish the other 4. So already, this here was in the picture there to say for us to receive a rebuke, the word rebuke, using the rebuke. Not to agree with the thought, not to agree with the thought. So the zero in on already was going on here before we get near. All right, and so climax. Not so much as it's so, climax is not really going to be presented until the fourth, until the getting to college to be taught about that the identity is. Alright, and I have the word with climax. Climax is the high point of action in the story, alright? Now yesterday, what I did here was got the 5-8 candle and the 5-9 candle. And I used a couple words, and out of them couple words was, let's go extrovert. And extrovert was some other words. But introvert and extrovert pertaining to the 5-8 and 5-9 being an equation that we have to solve so that we can get some. S-U-M. The perversion of this word, another topic, but there is the area of the perversion of that word, but S-U-M. Equation. Alright, we do our math problem. Math is problems to say that we need to solve so we can get some. So we can get a sum or get some. S-U-M. So we got this 5-8, we got this 5-9. I always like to say, now this is how I kept up with it. After the 4 semesters of college, in that moment in time, I was able to capitalize, okay, I know what psychology is now. Man, this is coming away from kindergarten. When I'm graduating from kindergarten and already been inspired to believe, inspired to believe that I'm a young psychologist. And so here is the 4 semesters of college with adulthood. I mean, this is going way back to elementary, junior high, high school, and after the 4 semesters, and in that moment's time right there, something that was way back there to the start of all of this, and able to celebrate In that moment of time, understanding. All right. So, this is how I kept up with this, and how one can keep up with it. It can be 5 foot, and it can be 6 foot over here. It can be 1 foot. It can be 12 foot. It's just making sure that we are having that in the zone of knowing the difference, giving us opportunity to know that there is a difference in this area of psychology. All right, I believe I use psychological state. But in this area, knowing that there is a difference there to acknowledge. All right, 5'8", 5'9", against how I kept up with it for myself. 5'8", 5 is two different numbers. The illustration of this candle, two different candles. Alright, we have the illustration of it being lit. Love that so much. Say we're keeping the good Lord into the picture. It always brings me to when he said, let there be light. Right? One of the very first things we comprehend, we're going to keep him in the picture. When he said, let there be light long ago. And so these candles to ponder on when they're unlit and when they're unlit. Alright? Unlit and when they are lit. So this is an equation that we have to solve for ourselves so we can get this SUM. So going into this equation, alright, I also use that, again, the opportunity to use the word of honest history. The opportunity to use the word, I love those words, honest history. When I ponder on Muhammad history, my favorite commercial of all times is the commercial where it says, of mine is a token in the waste. And that's on Muhammad's history. 43 Years on Earth has my favorite commercial, and that's not so much putting emphasis or over exaggeration. It's for myself. Let me see if this is my favorite commercial. One of those. And able to conclude that yes, it is. All right. So awesome words to use in this area. Mine is a terrible thing to waste, because also this is an everyday. Every day I'm able to receive complexity, conflict, and climax. We have those involvements in this area. Now, complexity is the word of origin. All right, I'm just using conflict. I'm just using these two words here: conflict and climax. So we just that's bringing that in to help magnify this area like so. So now, every day what's presented in our everyday. All right, we have this 5'8", and then we can say times 5'9". Are we? And then what I also had going on yesterday was not necessarily so that in this area is going to be always multiplication. Not always is going to be subtraction. Not always is going to be division. Not always is going to be additional. And then et cetera, et cetera. We good with that area. It's definitely there's many others we can put there. Alright, so we got to get to this sum. Now I used the idea of, I was using the word discouragement and encouragement. Because there's when we then took some time out of our schedules to figure out this equation that we got going on about ourselves. And when we do, we end up getting the wrong sum after all that. We get the wrong SUM. And so now it's these words to go along with those words. much should we give up in order to have more of the other? Right? And then there's also, how do we know when we've got it right? How much should we give up in order to have more of the other? How do we know when we've got it right? Alright? So one more time, how much should we give up in order to have more of the other? Now that's another area. We're not going to get into that right now. But the focus on how do we know when we've got it right? How do we know when we've got it right? Because again, after all that work, we didn't got here, but we got the wrong as U-M. And the ideal, I used try, we're going to use the word try. Where that try, well, one tried to get the right S-U-M. But they didn't get the right S-U-M. Where that is so equivalent, I'm able to receive to getting the right sum. Now, we're not going to conclude with just that because to say where it's primary that we get the right sum. But when that try is found equivalent, and then there was going on, when we get up here, we're taking care of our mind. It's not just taking care of this 5-9. It's also taking care of this 5-8, pertaining to when we saw this equation. It's about getting to this 5-9. That sum SUM will be that 5-9. I believe that's well put. We said just like that. That's well put. When we get that sum, that's going to be that 5-9. So each and every time we come to this 5-8, to get to this 5-9, and we're taking care of our mind. Brains to everything the way. We're not wasting our brain, our mind to everything the way. We're not wasting our mind. There is, with us taking care of our mind, we're not wasting it. That means each and every time we come to get to this 5-8, to do what we have to do, multiply, subtract, divide, or be additional with this 5-9, that's a good tack when we go to use it to get to that 5-9. So we're coming in here to do this equation as when we're using extrovert, introvert, and extrovert. And we're coming in and we're doing the equations here. We getting the answer. We're getting that SUM. And we're coming in, and there is when we come in and get that. And then I used this pertaining to, and I used the words of review your goals every day. Decide what needs to be done each week in order to achieve your goals. Give yourself a pat on the back once you reach the goal. Alright? So, to focus on the area, where's the pat on the back? Is that in sequence with lifting? I use the helicopter here. And I'm thinking about when a helicopter lifts up. Right? No one needs to go. So far, okay, we got the helicopter, okay, we need to lift up now. We didn't got in, so let's lift up. You know, as I just say, we didn't got in here to figure out this equation. So we can get that SUM, and that's getting in the helicopter and then lifting up. Now use that also. So the rest of the words, give yourself a pat on the back once you reach the goal. Achieving the goal is an important step in your personal growth and in raising your self-esteem. So that's also, I believe, we use this helicopter, and this was also prophetic for raising self-esteem. Now, this is how I kept up. This is how I'm keeping up what I kept with it when I got to this fourth semester of college being completed. The 5-8, the 5-9, and the uses of the helicopter and representation, because when folks zeroing in on this individuality and then getting here to this accomplishment or this goal and the celebration that was mentioned, all this to say pertaining to that was present during it, pertaining to give yourself a pat on the back once you reach the goal. Achieving a goal is an important step in your personal growth and in raising your self-esteem. So right there at that moment of time, this is how this was kept up with. At the 5-8 representing that candle, the 5-9, and then the carrying out of the words that was just mentioned pertaining to your personal growth and in raising your self-esteem. All right. So now there's also these words I use here with importance in this area. After achieving one goal, plan for the next one. All right. So introvert, to say we use an introvert, came in here that was the goal, to solve this equation. The extrovert came in, and the goal was to solve the equation so we get this SUN. Now, as users of these two words, once we get that SUN when coming in here to get that SUN, the furthering found in that moment's time. Alright? The furthering found in that moment's time, after achieving one goal, the furthering is plan for the next one. So receiving that moment's time, there's a plan for the next one. So the question, to say that we come in here to solve, but we don't go nowhere. We stay put. We don't have that in repertoire too. The lifting up of the helicopter to say in resemblance or parallel to your personal growth and in raising your self-esteem. Personal growth and in raising it. Personal growth, 5-8, 5-9, and then to say the raising of your self-esteem, another good way at it, right? Now, this is the area, again, when I get here to 4 semesters of college, this was the inbringing in that moment's time. And what the inbringing and magnifying, capitalizing on keeping the good Lord in the picture to say, definitely was, okay, the Lord is the ultimate psychologist, alright? For me to say, I didn't have that in kindergarten. I didn't have that in elementary. Whatever transpired pertaining to me or the good Lord, I did not have that in kindergarten. I did not have that in elementary. I did not have that in junior high. I yet had that in high school. But when I got here to the other side of these 4 semesters of college, when that was all completed, that's when I finally had that conclusion for myself that the good Lord is the ultimate psychologist. And then there is, now psychology is everything that the mind was gave for it to be lit, to work with, everything that the mind was gave for itself and for it to work with, for us to work with. I'm using everything that was gave in my mind, and I'm using it. I'm working with it. That's psychology to say. All that's lit. Amen. That's good. Amen. Baby. See. So all that in the mind when it's lit. All right. Very simply put. All that in the mind when it's lit. That's psychology. Now that's where I was again right here, because I got 4 more semesters to go now. We just got to that May 23rd, 2019, just 2 months ago, the celebration, the uplifting there, awesome time that was, and then in conclusion, and in continuing to say, again, just in these areas, we have this type of achieving goals and planning for achieving and following through and continuing setting goals and with those words that I used yesterday, when that is yesterday. All right. So semesters of college. Okay, now I'm out in the community with the thus far for 3 years before coming back to finish the other 4. And yesterday there was the mentioning of now when these 3 years completed itself, so it was enriching. It was gave first place, holy recognition. Alright, then it was coming back to do those 4 other semesters. Now in this area, and continue moving along, and again this is using pretty much the base of what I used yesterday and an open segment prior to that. And again, I'm here on the I just graduated 8 semesters pertaining to something that was planned early in the educational experience here. Kindergarten and elementary, already inspired to give myself at the college. After high school, there wasn't that early opening of mind. Also, I believe that I presented into the atmosphere. There was where I was given opportunities to express that I only have kindergarten completed. For college to already be brought into the picture and already a tassel is being shown about it. To say the tassel at the graduation, or here at the graduating of the 8 semesters, my tassel that was filed in. I'm way back here in kindergarten. And just graduated kindergarten, I'm getting on my way with elementary now. And already inspired about up here, where I gave opportunity to express, I only have what I have, kindergarten completed. Well, that's going to be a hassle getting to that tassel. And then the rest of the inspiration being pretty much so it concluding itself a couple months ago. Alright? Alright, so this is the base that I used in, and we moving along. So before moving along to the additional I'm going to use here, I used conscious stream yesterday. And I used the paralleling of cause and effect. Let's go with cause and effect. I use cause and effect. And then I used, okay, here we are in 2019. And the same question, why is the effect that it is in 2019? Why is the effect that it is here in 2019? And then there was the uses of conscious stream to say, okay, let's conscious stream CONCIOUS conscious stream, not SCIENCE conscious, okay? Conscious stream. Oh, but that CONCIOUS, alright? So we're about to conscious stream from kindergarten and then all the way to the conclusion of these 8 semesters. And to say that we asking, why is the effect? And then to say what caused the effect. Now, and I believe that I went on to share, okay, there was the graduating from kindergarten, the graduating from elementary, the graduating from junior high, the graduating from high school, and then the graduating from the 8 semesters of college, alright? Where there is, okay, now that's the reason for the effect, alright? And it's a simple way to put it to say. Because there was the uses of when a little child first starts out from the womb, right? When we first start out from the womb. And we have yet digested so that we are human spirit plus our agenda. And I like to zero in here before we digest that we are students. after we can be in kindergarten already, maybe starting a little bit of elementary, but we have not yet really digested that we are human spirit plus our agenda to say. Where when we do, the Creator to say, for however He may choose to use the Garden of Eden. Here's where I shared that. Okay, now when I came from the womb, there was my family members present, 3 family members present, had 3 lady members of my bloodline present. And when we leave the hospital, okay, I'm took to my first male family member, bloodline related. His name is Adam. So to say how the good Lord may choose to use the Garden of Eden in that moment's time. Not gonna put him in the box. So, and then we don't want to put him in the box. However He may choose that moment. And this moment is a moment of, to say, the Creator capitalizing on when He first did it. Alright? And so again, not putting him in the box, because to say not each and every one of us may be coming home and our first male member that we meet is an Adam. But that does enough hold to say the Creator from using the Garden of Eden in that moment of time. For however He may be using that moment, or however He may be using the Garden of Eden in that moment's time, just pretty much to capitalize on when He first did it. And that He did is because before the newborn comes forth from the womb, there's nobody, right? Nobody there. Before Adam and Eve came forth from the Creator, there was nobody there. So when He first did that. Alright, so we're keeping the good Lord in the picture there. So conscious dreaming. And so we use conscious dream and the cause and effect pertaining to 2019. And the thing is, I use now, in that moment's time, do we go with the human spirit? Or our Creator? In that moment's time. And what we did, we made way all the way to 2019. And then again, Elor, we made all the way to 2019 with that human spirit who was presented to Garden of Eden. We didn't so much make way with the Creator who presented that moment's time to the human spirit, but we went with that human spirit whom that was presented to, and now here we are in 2019. To say there's a questioning why the cause and effect, what caused this effect? Alright, so now we're about to move along. We add some more good stuff here, and we're using this ideal here, okay? Complexity, conflict, climax. So we got the diagram drawn up, drawn up. The 5-8, the 5-9, okay? I used conflict and climax yesterday. I didn't use complexity. This is an original word here. Original word here. But again, complexity. How this can be complex. This could be a complex situation. This could be a complex moment. For us to we conscious stream already our experiences of climax. We conscious streaming pertaining to the high point of action in the story. Oh boy. The high point of action in the story. And then conflict. The struggle, problem in the story. It brings me to, again, the idea of math. We have a problem, so we have to solve it so we can get that SUM. And then problem not being a discouraging thing, but an encouraging thing that we can get to that SUM. Yes, we can. Amen. Good moment's time to use that. Yes, we can get to that SUM. So just because a problem is presented, let's not be discouraged. Let's be encouraged that we can get to that SUM. All we gotta do is take this 5-8 candle, maybe, and then for starters, find out right here. It's gonna be multiplication, subtraction, division. Is gonna be an additional thing. And even when we get here and we got the wrong sum, because a try, where we find the try is equivalent to the success, the completion, the championship, etc., etc. Alright, so we're about to use this. Oh man, we're about to use this 5/8. This is some decent stuff here. Alright, we got the 5/8 candle again. And then we got, and I'm using multiplication here. We're going to just use multiplication. And we got the 5/9 candle. Alright, and we got to get that SUM. So we get the SUM. So what I want to use here is what caught people's attention was a series of alarms given in the midst of dramatic and progressive slide toward disconnection. And then the importance of social networks to a healthy democracy. Alright. Okay, so let's do those words and let's think of the 5/8 and the 5/9. Right? So with those words mentioned, every thought and every emotion involved changes in the electrochemical signals in the brain. Therefore, all states of feeling can be regarded as chemical imbalances. What gets lost